Hi everyone, thank you so much for joining us. My name is Lindsay Marshall. I'm one of the product marketing managers at SAS, and I'm delighted to be joined today by two of our speakers, my colleague Mauro Souza from SAS and also Lucas Palin from GMWIT, and they're going to give you an overview of some fraud prevention strategies with GenAI. So let's give them a warm welcome. Can I also ask, just in the element of time, because the guys have a lot to cover, if we can save any questions until the end of the session, that would be much appreciated. Thank you so much. Let's welcome. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Well, good afternoon, everyone. I'm Mauro Souza. Oh, let me go back. And Lucas Palin. Would you like to explain you and to show you the work we've been doing in Brazil and globally, and how we are implementing SaaS solutions with our partner, GMWIT, in the global market and also in Brazil. We have a straightforward agenda today. A brief introduction about how the market is facing fraud, specifically speaking in phishing, fight phishing, using, as Frank Abagnale said yesterday, the worst part of the compose total explaining strategy in a company, in an institutional financial company, is phishing, is the end point. The financial institutions nowadays, they have a really good technology to fight and combat fraud. But the end point, the customer, now is the weakness of it. And then we need to educate them. We need to train them, and also we need to use technology for that. We need to use GenAI to combat, to fight fraud, to fight many kinds of fraud. GenAI for fraud prevention, how we are doing that. We identify the issues in the market, but now how GMWIT, our partner, how they are using GenAI for do that. And the end, we use GenAI in practical, how we are doing that. The main strategy used to develop also the knowledge of business, to use intelligent decisioning, and also use SaaS Vision Investigator. We are going to explain how these platforms works after that. Those are the main issues we are facing in the market today. The top trends, how fraudsters are using GenAI, looking to fraud, to not just phishing, but many kinds of fraud. How they are automating, how they are using synthetic identity, looking to fraud person, the customers in the end, and also they are stealing account from institution using deep fake technology. And also they have a structure, a really baseline how to do that. Looking to data analysis, personalization, content creation, scale and automation, all the process. And then they can structure a deep kind of fraud for each person in the market. Not like just see a group of person and identify them, how can do that, but use the right skill to fight against just one person. And then this is how fraudsters are using the technology against us. We have like the AI for good stuff, and we can also have the AI for bad stuff. We came from the market I have a lot of experience in a financial institution in Brazil and US. Also, my really nice experience from Citibank. We speak about a lot of stuff, a lot of new fraudsters in the world, in the market, especially in Brazil, because we are really creative to fraud, actually. And then, speaking with them, we have a really nice phrase to understand how the fraudsters are acting. Which one? While traditional phishing attacks rely on social engineering techniques, AI-driven phishing attacks rely on machine learning techniques. All right, we have the fraudsters using AI against us. We need to do something to fight against. And the biggest, the most famous tool, everyone's laughing, nice, you know that. The best tool against us is the WormGPT. The WormGPT is one tool, same as a lot of chats we have, but without any rule. And the main phrase that they're using embrace the dark symphony of code, where rules no longer apply, and the only limit is your imagination. Together, we navigate to the shadow of cyberspace. Ready to conquer a new frontiers? What is your next move? Okay, they have the best tool against us. They use our strategy against us. And how can we do against them? Phishing have a lot of kind of types, how to do it, how to impress, how to catch many kind of person. One of them, convincing conversational frauds. Even my wife, some fraudster just called her and said, okay, could you just pay this bill to me? And she said, okay, I will do it. But she thought that was me. And then she paid, and she just asked me happily and said, okay, I paid your bill. Are you okay? You're fine? And then I said, okay. In my house, I work fighting fraud for more than 15 years, and okay, I didn't educate my wife to do it against them. Yes, it happened. We need to educate since our houses until our customers. Realistic deepfake content. We also have a lot of situations where, like when bank account, customer business email compromised, with the case in China, the case in US, in Brazil, someone just try to be a financial person and then pay a bill from fraudsters, lose money, then, okay, I need another kind of fraud, we just identify. This kind of fraud we can combine with a lot of techniques to understand, but the best technique, Frank Abagnale said us again yesterday, education. We need to educate them as well. Also, the last one, automated posts and profile. I will give my wife example again. Someone just stole her Instagram profile and starts to ask for money for everyone from her network. Someone just gave, my mom just called me and said, okay, shall I pay something for you or not? And I said, okay, it's fraud, be careful, educate. And now, let's understand in a way how SaaS with GMWIT, we are doing in the market, we are trying to prevent this kind of situation in practical. We work with a very good concept called frenemy. The institutions knows who the customers are, who the fraudsters are. But the intersection about it, like one account who has been around for 10 years, transaction normally, and then suddenly starts to receive money from fraud accounts. In Brazilian, we used to say that orange account, but in US, you use front accounts. And then this intersection is where we're trying to find, because we can combine a lot of techniques to reach that. Speaking about Gen AI, how our engine works. Our engine works offline. We didn't need to use internet to do it. And we also use generative adversarial networks, which means we can create a network to understand the endpoint, the point of conflict, where we can combine, okay, Moro have one device who access a lot of accounts, because I have device fingerprint from many suppliers can give you this information really easily. Autoregressive models and also variational encoders. If you have any details, we can speak after that, our speaking. But with this technology, we have a co-pilot and a chat looking forward to understand and give more power to the customer, to the financial institution, looking forward to prevent not just phishing, but many kinds of fraud. Creating new realities, which is use the customer data, such as text, images, audios, and others, looking forward to create something new. What is creating something new? Looking for fraud is. It's right there to create like a kind of fraud prevention for each one here. I understand how Moro use their account, how they transact, how he transacts, how everyone here transacts. When I receive 50,000 reais of a transaction in one day, it is not like the way how Moro use. I have an alert, I have a score risk, I have an option to fight against it. Now I have a screen. In addition to phishing, as I said, we have a lot of types of fraud we can fight across a lot of use cases. Identification, rare patterns, deviation, simulation multi-vector attacks, proactive analysis of networks. This one is the one that I really like it, because with a network, I can identify not just one fraudsters. We can combine strategies, we can you can use a lot of variables to understand where is the group of fraud, where is the cartel. Latin America is very common cartel. Using synthetic data for training and validation models, and also the prediction of potential fraud. Here's the best one, because I need to understand how they are going to do. But also, we are suffering with fraud that we don't know. We just use like a customer satisfaction. We have a lot of indicators to measure fraud and to pay it, like operational cost. But we need to know and combine a lot of indicators as churn, as a lot of impact on the final customers, to use and prevent fraud. The score risk is just one variable. And this one variable is not enough. We need to use a lot of variables, combine everything, and then gives you a feedback. This feedback could be like a score risk. If we think 0 to 1,000, where 0 to 500 is accept, reject, or reveal, we will have the power. We'll give you the final institution to accept, deny, or fired an alert to analyze in practical. We have a lot of benefits, but the main ones is to have like creative process automation. In Brazil, we used to say that the fraudster is really creative because we have a lot of ways that we identify in a fraudster. And this is good and bad, because if we have Brazilians who fight fraud with creativity, we have the other side, the other hand, as well, fraudsters using creativity and creating university of fraud, creating a lot of stuff to fight against us. Customization at scale, we need to scale that. We need to identify a lot of profiles and fight against that. And discover a new knowledge. This could be like easy. This could be, if you have the right tool, it could be easy, yes. Nowadays, it could be easy. And we will show you. And also, we have a lot of challenges. We work with models, but the quality and precision of these models need to be very accuracy. Working with ethics and also relies on big data. We need to have like good machines to run it and to have like in a fast way a result. Finally, we have concluded this theoretical part, and let's move on to demonstration. I think this is the best way to see how we do that. Everything we presented about phishing, about the works offline, without exposing environments, the challenge we face with fraudsters, with the most sophisticated tools, WarmGPT. Now we will show you in practical. Now we will show you how it's going on. What if you had your own chat?
Thanks, Mauro. Now let me show you how can I do this. And now we have here our agent. I've got connect my email in my Microsoft account here, and I've selected a few emails here. They are definitely phishing. And here I have the RAG models connected to my agent AI, and he was trained with some data. And I would like to ask him, who are you? And he explained me, I am an AI agent specialized in detecting, analyzing, and classifying phishing. And analyze, for example, texts, emails, SMS, and medias, websites. And I would like to ask him here, how many files did you use to be trained? And I have the answer. I was trained with 100,000 real examples of phishings and communications, real communications. And using this knowledge, and I would like to ask him to, could you explain me your activities? Could you explain me how you prepare to analyze this? And he gave me the answer. I have the pattern recognition. I would like to show you the risk, some recommendations, and some technical notes here. And now, I would try to take my emails here to analyze for you this. Oh, the pause. Oh, thank you. And here, which pattern they trained to analyze? Urgent language, suspicious attachment, some emails too good to be true, and some grammatical errors. And can play, just play it. And here we have some classifications here, high, medium, and low, and some recommendations. For example, do not click in this email, delete this message, and some technical notes. Sometimes we give the email, you need to access your account, but the domain is not correct. Everybody knows this email, receives these emails. And now I will try to use in my own email. 1 minute, please. Thanks. Here I have a Brazilian government email. In Brazil, we receive a lot of these emails. You need to access your account, you need to give me some information, and I copy this email to the agent. The agent is prepared to detect the pattern here, explain me the pattern, analyze the risks. For example, in this email, I have the problem with domain. I have grammatical errors and urgency language. You need to do something now. And now, it's possible to analyze with Agent AI. And don't click this, don't send your information, the domain is not correct. And it's possible to analyze everything, every pattern in emails, just training the Agent AI. And now I take another email here and paste again. I have all this analysis. It's so fast to do that. And I don't have to spend a lot of time to analyze. And after that, I will upload a file with a lot of samples or connect in a database. It's possible to.
Yes, in addition to that, we can analyze mails, we can analyze a lot of informations, and also we can connect in a database. This database could be a transaction database where it will analyze not just one situation, one email, but it could be analyzed for a credit situation, a risk situation. This engine, we gave you a sample of analyzing like simple and easy stuff, which is a phishing email. But what if we use this tool to analyze a transaction, a database transaction? I just plug in with my financial institution, and then the engine, the copilot, starts to analyze every single transaction and gives you a feedback. Okay, be careful, you are suffering an attack in a special location, and a risk location, frontiers and stuff. It will analyze everything. This, we have a lot of parts, we have a lot of customers working with a lot of situations, even fraud, even phishing, with even everything we showed you here.
Thanks. And now I would like to show you behind the scenes how everything works here. Let me. here, I asked to AI to analyze row by row and give me the same analysis in all the databases or the email. In this case, in CSV, and it's possible to analyze. I just asked him, analyze, give me this pattern, my risk, my recommendation. For all the parts in this agent to do this same, or is the same. And now I will show you behind the scenes using SAS. This is SAS Intelligent Decisioning. Connected in AI, this rules was created by Agent AI directly in SAS. You can ask, I would like to create these rules, or find a pattern and create directly in SAS. And here I have the groups of rules. It is the rule set, and here is our decision engine. And now I would like to show you how easy to create a rule in SAS Intelligent Decisioning. For now, I'm looking for some kind of rules here, and I would like to combine, I think, a fraud prevention. I have a group of rules here to fraud prevention, and now I'm looking for, let me check, a customer rules. I need to check documents, I need to check emails, cell phone, mobile phones, and other things, and combine with these fraud preventions. And now I'm looking for rules created by Agent AI for phishing. And in this group, I can combine everything. I can create one score for which group of fraud, and create a switch to decide it's a fraud or not, it's a phishing or not. It's how after that it's possible to do something. Now I would like, if I have, for example, a high score, analyze the minimal details in SAS Visual Investigator. And how can I do this between these two SAS softwares? They connect him with API calls. It's possible to do in real time. It's possible to analyze this, create alert here. After this alert, it's possible to separate in strategies. And in this case, we have a transaction monitor here to analyze all these email phishings. It's possible to analyze the metrics, the time I spent to analyze. And now I'm diving in one alert. When I create this alert in SAS Intelligent Decisioning, it's possible to connect in databases, access to external sources, and populate the SAS Visual Investigator screen. And now it's possible to see all the details and take some actions about this.
Okay, folks. To conclude our presentation, we would like to leave you a thought-provoking question. Good AI or bad AI? Who will win this war? But the real question is, what is your next move? Thank you.
Boa, valeu.
Questions? Vamos tirar uma foto.
Do we have any questions in the audience for the team? Feel free to ask. No?
Okay, thank you.
Thank you so
Thank you, everyone.
Can we give the guys a hand, please, for their time today? And thank you so much for joining.
Thank you.